Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. So today we're playing some Fallout New Vegas, and in case you didn't know, there's a pretty big show going on tonight in about 2 hours. There's a VTuber that's gonna be playing some Fallout New Vegas, and I'm anticipating to watch them do their thing. I want to see what direction they decide to go. Now they may or may not have seen my video on how to get started on Fallout. Despite whether or not they heed my advice, I still want to watch what they got to put out either way. I'm curious to see where they go. If they're going to follow some directions, or if they're going to find a different route to the strip, or what they're going to do. If they're going to make it to the strip the first stream, or if it's going to take them a while. If this is just a one-off stream, or if this is like something they're going to regularly be doing. Who knows? We just have to wait and see. And it's going to be pretty soon when it actually releases, when they actually do this video. So if everything goes according to plan and as scheduled, which it may or may not, who knows for sure. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they decide to go on their first. I think this is their first time playing New Vegas. I'm not entirely sure. It may or may not be their first time. A lot of times when VTubers tell you it's their first time playing something, usually it's not. Usually they've played it at least one time before. You know, just for like an hour though, so it doesn't totally count. But you know, a lot of the times, just saying, a lot of the times when a VTuber tells you that they've never played a game before, there's a good chance they've played a little bit of that game, but it was a long time ago. Things were different, and you know, they were a different person back then, or it was only for like an hour, or you know, all these things. But anyways, I'm guessing this could be their first time playing New Vegas, so it's going to be interesting because this game is so old at this point that some of the pop culture from the game may have slipped into something from your daily life on the internet. You may have seen something or viewed something that may be related to New Vegas in some way. Maybe there's some memes or some YouTube compilation videos or something that might have, you know, led you on to at least guess what New Vegas is all about and things that happen in it. And I'm guessing they do know a thing or two because the title of their stream, which hasn't been released yet, it's still coming. The title is named after a phrase that one of the famous NPCs from Fallout New Vegas, or from a DLC from Fallout New Vegas, mentions. A famous NPC known as Joshua Graham, basically the baddest Mormon in the Mojave. Yeah. They named it after that. I don't know for sure if they know who Joshua Graham is, but they at least know the meme. You may know him as the Bandaged Man. He's also known as the Burned Man. But yeah, I'm interested to see. where exactly they're going to go with it, what their first time around is going to be like. And this is, I don't know for sure if it's their first time playing, but it's their first time that I've ever seen them play. So it's going to be interesting to see where they decide to go. Now, there is my video out there for anybody who wants to learn how to play New Vegas and how to get on their feet, which is, if you look up on YouTube, oh, what's it called? Hold on. I got a video out there. Fallout New Vegas tutorial for freshies. Yeah, if you look that up, Fallout New Vegas tutorial for freshies, it should take you to my video where you can learn all about how to get started on Fallout New Vegas, how to get on your feet, and how to get to the strip in under 2 hours. Yeah, under 2 hours. It takes about 2 hours, or maybe a little more than 2 hours, but it takes about 2 hours, less than 3 hours, to get into the strip from starting. And if you're just looking to get some money in your pocket, it'll at least get you to that. Because I show you how to get to the Thorn, but technically you could get to the strip, but the problem is I doubt you're going to have 100 science to get through the Securitrons, and I doubt you're going to have well, you might have the bread. I'm not too sure. Depending on if you rob Doc Mitchell or not, you may or may not have the money buy a fake passport, but of course you might not have the speech skill to get through. And by the way, if you are looking to increase your speech skill, some things such as survival could be helpful, because when you have survival, the effects of alcohol is greater. So you'll notice this atomic cocktail does plus 88 H2O, minus 296 sleep, plus 74 energy resistance, plus 74 fire resistance, and that is controlled by survival skill. And if I'm not mistaken, I think survival skills. I think survival is controlled by endurance. Let's have a look. It does not quite say, so let's check special endurance. Environmental, yeah, survival skill. So the higher your endurance, the higher your survival skill will be. The lower the endurance, the lower your survival skill will be. And unfortunately, I seem to be affected by some kind of disease or something. Something's going on with me where my endurance is lower. Let's have a look. Minor dehydration. So that dehydration is affecting my endurance, which is affecting my overall survival skill, which is affecting the effectiveness of my food. So you'll notice like this energy resistance, instead of being plus 75 energy resistance, we're at plus 74 energy resistance, so we're missing a point. The nice thing is our rads, instead of being plus 5, is plus 4. So it goes both ways. Having high survival both affects how effective something is in a positive aspect, and how effective something is in a negative aspect. So you'll notice instead of getting plus 40, hold on, it's plus 88 H2O, which increases how badly I need a drink, which is pretty bad. But let's go ahead and drink from a mud puddle or something, and then we'll go ahead and see if we're still at plus 88 H2O or something else. That's a little too muddy, not enough water. You always want some water in your mud. You don't want just mud in your mud. Okay, let's keep on having a look and see if we can't find a mud puddle that we can drink from. A suitable mud puddle. I think there might be one up in this mountain range. But yeah, it's about 2 hours before their stream starts, so this is, I have no affiliation to their channel, by the way, or their company. But, this is just a stream I'm doing just to fill the time until their stream actually starts, which I've got on the smart device, so I can start watching that once it starts. And yeah, I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with it. I'm gonna go ahead and just guess right ahead of time that they're probably gonna be high science, high energy weapons. Well, you know what? I might be getting ahead of myself. Let's just take it slow for a moment. So the likelihood that this is the first time they've played it is probably pretty high, because they seem to be a younger gamer. Not to the point that they've probably never heard of this game, but this is an older game, so the likelihood that they've played it is probably kind of low, honestly, nowadays in this modern climate. So they may or may not have played it, probably not, but they probably know about it. And I would guess most people, right off the bat, if they're unfamiliar with Fallout New Vegas, Fallout in general, are probably going to be attracted to the bright, shiny guns. So those energy weapons, those are a pretty attractive aspect to most people. Now, this influencer who I'm interested in watching, they don't seem like an avid gun fan. I never really hear of them being associated with rantings or ravings about auto weapons or any kind of firearm. So I'm going to guess that they're probably not going to be a guns expert. And they are, by the way, someone who is associated with possible plasma glowing things. So that once again, that's another point towards leaning that they're probably going to be an energy weapons expert and a science expert. They are also great at what is considered alchemy, which is an ancient or primal or primitive source of science, of chemistry, which is a science. So I'm going to guess that they're probably going to be high science. At the very least, they're probably going to be high science. And I'm going to go ahead and say they're probably going to be they're probably going to be energy weapons as well. So probably science, energy weapons, high intelligence, maybe high repair. That does fall under the intelligence aspect. So probably high repair. Because they are technically, I believe they are technically considered a slime, they're probably going to be low endurance because slimes are typically in RPGs, your typical slime is a very low level creature. So I'm just going to guess that more than likely they're going to be a low endurance class, just based upon the fact they're a slime. Now, occasionally there is mega, super, duper, world-ending type slimes, like the ones from the anime. I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's an anime called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. And if they are more along that lines of a slime, it could be anything. It could be any man's guess at that level, because those slimes are not your traditional, not your standard slime. That is a more hyper advanced slime. That is technically a human. And that's why they don't count as a standard slime, because they're technically a human that got Icy Keyed. And so typically your standard Icy Key hero has a few bonus options, a few bonus features that are not quite standard with your traditional RPG world. So like if you have a slime, it's probably a low level in a traditional RPG world. But if you have an Icy Keyed slime, they're going to be a higher tier their stats are going to be of higher tier. So if they are an Icy Keyed slime, then I would say they're probably going to be high endurance, or maybe medium endurance, or maybe just low to medium. But I'm going to guess that I'm not too sure. Just being a slime in general, though, and being their first playthrough, I'm going to guess they're going to be low endurance, but you never know. They could choose with the high endurance. But what I am going to say is that they're more than likely going to be high science, and I'm really thinking they're going to go with energy weapons. I got a feeling that this is not going to be a 1,000 hour playthrough like what I got going. I got a feeling this is probably going to be a quick one and done. Just run through Vegas, see the sights, go listen to the shows and all that stuff, and then after that point, graduate from New Vegas and move on to a different game. That's what I'm guessing. That's what most streamers do. It's actually kind of silly that I've spent 1,000 hours in a single playthrough. Most people would have started the game at some point. I still haven't started the main quest. So I'm not a very progressive player, not a very linear player, not a very advanced player in that field when it comes to quests. I'm a very sandboxy type guy. You stick me in a sandbox, 1,000 hours later, I'm going to still be in that sandbox, still messing around with the bucket, putting the bucket on my head, using the shovel as a sword or whatever. You stick me in a sandbox, I'm going to be Sandman. You stick me in a sandbox, I'm going to be Sandman. But your typical player, when they enter New Vegas, they treat it like an RPG. They're in. They're the hero. They do heroic stuff. They accomplish the quest, the mission. They go home a hero, and that's it. They're the hero of the story. Me, I'm kind of just I'm the Sandman. I'm just covered in sand, just playing with sand, and that's all I'm looking to do is just play in the sand. I am in a sandbox, so I choose to use it the way a Sandman would. But this player, I'm guessing they're more linear, and knowing that they're more linear, even if they are Sandman like me, who knows? But even if they are more linear, and I doubt they are Sandman, I've never run across another Sandman. I've run across one person who was kind of like a Sandman, but that was back in the days of when I first moved to Twitch from Mixer. Well, originally I was on Twitch, but then I moved to Beam, then that turned into Mixer, then I moved to Twitch, and so on my second move to Twitch, there was a player who was possibly a Sandman, but they also seemed very focused on quests. So I would say more of like a more like a Time Lord than a Sandman. Probably more focused on quests, traveling time periods, things like that. Less traveling timelines, studying timelines, things of that sort. Me, I'm less, even less linear than that. Just plot me in the sandbox, let me, eat the Play-Doh or whatever, and just set it and forget it. I'll be here 1,000 hours later, still, trying to shape weird things out of the sand. Anyways, I don't think that this player is going to be that way. I got a feeling they're probably going to be more focused on linear quest completion. I got a feeling this is probably a completionist, and at the very least, a tourist. So, on tourist level, they're probably going to want to see the sights. If they're a completionist, they're going to want to complete whatever there is to complete, whatever they're hoping to accomplish, which is probably the main story. So, with that in mind, I'm going to guess that their build is not going to be a Sandman build. What I used to call, I guess it is a Sandman build, but I used to call this the construction workers build because it doesn't have much going for it in the means of being a slayer, but it doesn't really have much going for it in the means of being a sneaker either. So I'm not particularly stealthy, not particularly deadly. I am strong and I am endurance, but there's really not much going for me in the ways of heroic builds, signs and stars or whatever. I'm just your everyday punchin' munchin' dude. That's just me. Punchin' munchin' dude in a sandbox. That's it. So yeah, this player, I'm gonna guess they probably want more for their life than just punchin' and munchin' in a sandbox. So I'm gonna guess they're gonna not have this build that I got. But I'll go ahead and show you this build, just in case you want to see it, and just in case they're watching, and maybe, who knows, maybe they want to be a Sandman too. So here's my build. I got 10 strength, I got 3 perception, I got 10 endurance, 9 charisma, 2 intelligence, 2 agility, 10 luck. This is what I call the construction worker, but I guess I'm now going to rename it the Sandman. So here's the Sandman. If you plan on spending a lot of time doing absolutely nothing, here's the build for you. If you want to be just a step ahead, watch my video on YouTube, the Fallout New Vegas tutorial for freshies, and you'll go ahead and that is the true Slayer build. What's on there? You can go in blind, or you can go in first playthrough and come out just clean and killing it. So that build is basically this build, but switch out your charisma for agility. Charisma does absolutely nothing for you in this game unless you're a long-time Sandman. If you're a long-time Sandman, charisma helps you out because it increases your barter skill. So over time, your deals are going to be better. So if you check out the amount of cash I got, keep in mind this is 1,000 hours. If you check out the amount of caps I got, I've got so many caps that it's not countable, but not so many caps that a super mutant can't just snatch them out of my my pocket. So if I run across a Nightkin who happens to be selling any kind of Wind Brahmin, all these caps gone, all this value gone. Now luckily, as you can see in the world around me, I've invested in the world around me. I've decided to place all this junk, all this dynamite, all these things all around me in the world. So even if I go flat broke, even if I lose everything, the world around me is a richer place, so I can live off of the world easier because I've chosen to spend a good bit of my wealth on improving the world around me. So since the world around me is wealthy, that makes me a wealthy person even if I'm flat broke. Okay, so I've got bottle caps. I've got 36 million bottle caps. There you go. 36,698,004 bottle caps. I've got quite a few bottle caps. And the reason for that is because I have such a high charisma that when I get deals, even if somebody hates me, which by the way, most everybody hates me, because I've done some screwed up stuff. 1,000 hours in as a Sandman, and you're going to upset a few of the grains of sand. That's just the way it is. So I'm not getting best friend prices. When I do a deal with somebody, somebody's like, oh, it's this guy. You know what? Let's do a deal with him. We could use whatever crap he's trying to sell us. Just don't give him the best deal, but give him a deal nonetheless. Just not the best deal. Give him a bad deal, but he'll take a bad deal over no deal. He'll have to deal with it. So I go ahead and do that deal, and because I have such high charisma that when I walk up to them with my cheesy, disgusting smile, they're like, you know, I don't like you, but I like you. I don't like you, but you know what? I think I like you. So I have so because of that strange effect, when I do deals with people, I get a little more caps even when they hate me. So 9 charisma, that's what I need for my build as a Sandman. As an infinite Sandman. But for you, a quester, for a completionist, for an adventurer such as you, I would suggest the Slayer. And for the Slayer, I would say take all that charisma out, because in Fallout New Vegas, charisma does nothing for you unless you're a no good Sandman that has nothing to do. So move that charisma over here to intelligence, and you should come out with about, I think it's 7 intelligence, 6 or 7 intelligence. I think it's 7 intelligence though. You should come out with 7 intelligence, and so you should have 10 luck, 7 intelligence, 10 endurance, and I guess strength. A 10 could help as well. But eventually what you'll be able to do is move up to the New Vegas Clinic and buy yourself some implants where you can then get 2 charisma, 2 intelligence, and 2 perception. But I guess you might end up with some extra points. Not too sure. Let's see. You need minimum for the Slayer build 7 agility. Technically, I think that's going to leave you with. I think that's going to leave you with a few extra points that you can decide to do whatever you want with. And if you end up with some extra points after 7 agility, I would say dump the rest of that into intelligence, and that's going to help you quite a bit. But that's once again, if you're looking for the true Slayer build, go ahead and watch my YouTube video. And so we're going to move on from that. We're going to move on from this whole build process. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We're not. Because the thing is, I don't know that this person's going to go with the true Slayer. See, I don't know that they are a true Slayer. They definitely are an adventurer, which puts them in the Slayer category. But I don't know if they're a true Slayer. See, they are a slime, and slimes can go any which way, but standardly, slimes are usually not very strong. So let's go back to discussing this for a second. So their endurance is probably going to be pretty low. Their intelligence, they are a very scientific-looking slime, so their intelligence is probably going to be through the roof. Their luck, I don't know them personally, but I've heard that they've gone through some bad luck in their life. And bad luck is still luck nonetheless. So luck is measured by good and bad luck. So if you're a very lucky person, if you have a lot of good luck in your life, you're considered a very lucky person in Fallout New Vegas. If you have a lot of bad luck in your life, you're still considered a lucky person. It's just you got an abundance of bad luck. So their luck is probably going to be pretty high, I would guess. Their intelligence is probably going to be pretty high. Their endurance is probably going to be pretty low. They've worked on their charisma, but I've watched one of their streams where they mentioned they had trouble getting along with the others at one point because they talked like a robot, they said, or something. So charisma, I would guess low. Agility, I don't know anything about if they've done any athletic stuff in their life, so I don't know about agility, honestly. Perception, I would probably say, let's have a look. High perception grants a bonus to explosives, lockpick, energy weapons. So just because the energy weapon skill is over there, I'm going to say they're going to have a high agility. So lockpick, a high perception, sorry. A high perception. A perception skill grants a bonus to explosives, lockpick, energy weapons, and because of the energy weapons, I'm going to say they're going to have a high perception. That's my guess. That's what I'm guessing. They're probably going to have a high perception. Which indicate threats. Yeah, I'm going to guess they have a high perception. And in their last stream, they had glasses. And glasses add to your perception. As long as you're wearing glasses. So they're probably going to have a high perception. Strength, I have no idea how strong they are. For all I know, they lift 300 pounds a day or something. I have no idea. I have no idea about their strength, so that's any man's guess. I'm going to guess they have a high perception. and a high intelligence. I have no idea about their agility, but I'm going to guess they have a high luck. So luck, perception, intelligence are probably what they're going to have more than likely at a high stat to possibly maxed out. That's what I'm guessing. And that's a difficult that's a difficult build to really pin down. I'm not too sure what you would pin that build down to. I guess, like, let's see, perception, intelligence, luck. I'd probably call that, let's see, perception. So your taste, smell, stuff like that. Intelligence, books, luck, black cat, so magic. So I'd probably say the magician. This is like the magician, the wizard, the witch, stuff like that. I'd probably call it the sorcerer's build, maybe something along those lines. The perception, intelligence, luck, the cook, maybe the cook, the chef, who knows. Definitely, probably not really a true Slayer though. See, Slayer builds are more focused on strength, endurance, and luck and agility. Because you're a gladiator. You're gambling with life, kind of. But anyways, yeah, that's my guess. Is they're probably going to be high intelligence. I know that's probably for sure high intelligence. More than likely high perception, just because they said they like to cook. So that takes a lot of taste and a lot of eyesight. You have to be able to see whether you're burning it or not, as well as touch, because you have to know when to serve it, when it's hot or not. Now, I don't know if cooking really requires the sense of hearing, but I could see how you might be able to use it. And smell, of course. Smell is like 1/3 of your flavor profile. When you taste something, I believe it's 1/3 of that brunt of the detection of whether it's good or not is smell. Eyesight is also very important to a meal, because depending on how the food is presented to you is how much of an appetite you're going to have to eat that meal. Just because they talked about food their last stream, I'm gonna guess they're probably gonna have a high perception. But that's, once again, that's still in a more guessy, iffy field. I'm still holding on to that high intelligence, high luck, and the rest I really don't know. But I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be high perception as well. But anyways, that's enough of that. So let's we just knocked over all this stuff. But yeah, that's probably. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's get into the skills. So let's guess skills. So I'm gonna guess that they're gonna have high energy weapons because they're new to the game, and at least if they aren't new to the game, they haven't played it for a while. And energy weapons, while they are absolutely awful in this game, in my opinion, they're bright and shiny, and bright and shiny attracts a lot of new players. So I'm gonna guess energy weapons high. I'm gonna guess explosives. Let's say medium. Guns, probably low. They don't seem like a gun enthusiast. Lockpick, I do kind of see them as a bit of a nosy person. A bit of a stealthy, nosy person. So I'm going to guess high lockpick and high sneak, which is probably going to bring them up to maybe a high agility as well. So they're probably going to be a medium to high agility. Probably going to have a decent sneak. Probably going to have a decent lockpick. Probably low melee, high energy weapons, possibly medium guns to give them a secondary weapon, but I'm going to guess they might put explosives as their secondary weapon. Of course, 100 speech. Everybody who plays in this modern climate has 100 speech, and by the way, their personality is a big part of like their what they do. So speech, of course, is probably going to be maxed out. Survival, not too sure. Now, I have heard that they do like to cook, so survival is probably going to be pretty high, because as you can see in this photo, this guy is cooking a big old gecko. Unarmed, that could be their secondary weapon. Their secondary weapon is either unarmed or explosives. I don't see them as much of a melee, but it could be melee. It could be melee. I honestly don't know. But yeah, probably medium to high. Survival, definitely 100 speech. Definitely 100 speech. Probably maybe 25 sneak. 100 science, of course. Repairs, I'm still not too sure, so I'm going to say 30 repairs. Melee, this could be a good secondary weapon. So probably at least, at least 10 melee, I would guess. Medicine, oh, I forgot about medicine. So medicine, oh, hold on, my device turned off. I don't know if you guys are chatting. But if you are, I missed it. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Well, it's live now. I'm going to go ahead and type some emotes so that I don't just let the screen just fall asleep like that. Let's drop some raccoons. And let's drop some... what else is a good emote? Let's drop some footballs. Footballs are cool. I saw something for sale today. It was a football sausage. It's very interesting. Okay, so medicine. The medicine skill determines how many hit points you'll replenish. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely see this person more than likely a heavy stim pack user, probably a stim pack addict. Most people don't think to use food as a health resource. Most people right off the bat, especially if they're more used to games like Fallout 3, are more than likely going to be medicine users. So I'm going to guess high medicine, probably 100 medicine, probably 100 medicine. Let's just read over the medicine skill just once again. The medicine skill determines how many hit points you'll replenish upon using a stim pack, and the effectiveness of Rad-X and Radaway. Yeah, I'm going to guess 100 medicine, easy. Lockpick, probably 50 to 75. I'm going to imagine that they're probably going to want to pick up some meta stuff. See, if they're not going to have a True Slayer build, which I don't think they're going to have, if they're not going to have a True Slayer build, they're going to need a high lockpick in order to acquire some meta weapons. I wouldn't be surprised if this person, even if this is their first playthrough, if they may have just researched a few of the key locations where some key meta equipment is located. That, or maybe chat will let them know. If they are open to that idea. Chat is more... If they are open to the idea of taking advice from chat, more than likely, if they are open to the idea of taking advice from chat, chat will probably let them know on where some hidden key components are to locate. And that's going to leave them at about 50 to 75 lockpick, maybe 100, but you don't necessarily need 100 to get a whole lot of the meta gear in the game. So probably 50 to 75 lockpick. Energy weapons, of course, they don't necessarily need this to be high, but I'm going to guess they are going to choose to put it high just because the allure of the bright, shiny energy weapons. Barter, I'm not too sure what they'll put barter at. I mean, barter helps with some caps here and there, but in the picture of a great adventurer, of a quest doer, barter doesn't necessarily need to be very high unless you're looking to go down the route of some Crimson Caravan quests. So I'm going to guess probably not a very high barter, honestly. Maybe, though. I mean, you never know. People can go any which way. But, yeah, what I would probably say for sure that they're probably going to have maxed out is 100 100 speech, 100 science, 100 medicine, more than likely 50 to 75 lockpick. That's what I'm going to say. And you know what? And that's I'm going to cap it at that. That's probably what they're going to have for stats. The rest is any man's guess. As for perks, out of these perks that I have, the ones they may choose to get, the ones that they probably are going to get, they may or may not get, but I'm going to guess that they're going to get, are the agility implant. Well, I don't know. Actually, implants could be a big guess as well, because if they choose to go low endurance, that'll only give them one implant to choose, and it could be literally any implant. So I really don't know when it comes to implants. Let's see, what of these might they get? Comrade ED, that's an easy one. That's easy. That's like free space, bingo, bada bing, bada boom, automatically, everybody's going to have it. Probably going to have Bug Stomper at some point, and Animal Control. So we're working with the easy ones at the current time. Camel of the Mojave, even non-food builds can sometimes end up with this perk just due to constraints or resources. Sometimes when even a heavy stim pack user is out of stim packs, they'll sometimes rely on water because people view water as safe. Even though they don't necessarily view food as safe all the time, people for the most part will always view water as safe, so they're probably going to have the Camel of the Mojave. That's my guess. Now, are they going to get it in this first stream, or are they going to get it 3 streams in? I can't guess for sure. You know what, I am going to go ahead and guess, not for sure, but I am going to put my hat in and say they'll probably get Camel of the Mojave this first stream. Now, if they don't get it in this first stream, they'll probably get it in the first 3 streams. That I will say for sure. They'll probably get Camel of the Mojave in the first 3 streams. But my guess is probably this first stream. But it could be 3 streams in. Who knows? It might be never if they decide that that they don't like this game. They play it, they don't like it, they move on to a different game. They might never get the Camel of the Mojave. But if they choose to do 3 streams, more than likely they'll get the Camel of the Mojave perk in the first 3 streams. And I'm gonna guess probably this first stream, just because water, it's such a tempting thing. People see water, they're like, ooh, water, good, safe, health, liquidation, or not liquidation, hydration. Yeah, people, Camel of the Mojave, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably this first stream. Not gonna say it's an easy thing to guess, not too easy, just because honestly I have seen some playthroughs where people have just they've picked up the game, they play for like 20-40 minutes, it crashes like 5 times, and they're like, screw this game, I'm moving on to something else. So I've seen that happen, and that could happen. I don't know for sure, but I am gonna go ahead and put my guess in, put my hat in the ring, and say they're gonna get this Camel of the Mojave perk this stream, probably this first stream. Cardiac arrest. What's this one? I believe this is I want to say this is a perk from Old World Blues. So if they do get this perk, which I don't know if they choose to, it's not going to be for some time. So I'm not even going to bother to look at this perk for the time being. Certified Tech, that is a later on perk, so that's going to take some time to really see it. I'm going to need more knowledge. I'm going to need to see more before I guess that. Day Tripper, it usually takes a while for people to really get really hopped up on the drugs. So, but you know what? It's something that you don't even need the DLCs to get. So I am gonna go ahead and guess on this one. So I'm gonna guess Day Tripper. Are they gonna be a heavy chems user? And if they are, at what point will they be a heavy chems user? So most people don't become heavy chems users unless they fall. From what I've seen, most people don't become heavy chems users unless they follow Sunny Smiles' terrible advice. By the way, never follow advice about the world from somebody who's never left their small town. But most people do. Most people do follow that advice. And by the time they hit, I believe it's called Prim. Yeah, by the time they hit Prim and they try to clear out the hotel, this is when they usually get stuck with this perk. Now, I got this perk fighting some Deathclaws, hopped up on Psycho. But most people get this perk trapped in the hotel, pinned down with nothing left, and they're like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, and then chat's like, take your drugs, take your drugs. They take all the drugs, and then they get Day Tripper. So I'm going to go ahead and guess. You know, do I want to lump them in with everybody else that does that? I think I will. I think, you know, I don't mean anything against them, but just chances are, that's probably what's going to happen. Just because I've seen it happen so many times, that's probably what's going to happen. Don't know for sure, but it's just, you know, 9 times out of 10, that's what happens on somebody's first playthrough of New Vegas. 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. So that's probably what's going to be what happens. That's probably what's going to happen. Who knows, though? Who knows? But that's probably going to be what happens. So you've done enough chems to know how to hang on to the effects just a while longer, yeah. Yep, they're probably going to get that first stream. And more than likely, my guess is in the Bison Hotel. DNA Avenger, that takes a while to get. That's Old World Blues perks right there. DNA Avenger, yeah. I'm going to hold off on that one just because it takes some time to see if somebody's going to... I'm going to try to avoid the DLC perks when doing this tier list or whatever. Just because the DLCs, first of all, I don't even know if they own the DLC, so I'm going to have to at least know that before jumping into that. And by the way, I'm going to guess that they don't own the DLCs just because most people don't buy the DLCs right off the bat. Most people want to play the game a little bit and try to figure out whether they like it or not before buying the DLC. So I'm going to guess they don't even own the DLC. So I'm going to skip out on the DLC perks. Okay, friendly help. Your special VATS friends have gotten used to helping you out and will strive to do so more often. Okay. Well, they might, if they listen to chat's advice, they're probably going to pick up EDE or Eddie or Edie, depending on how you pronounce it. The game pronounces it Eddie and EDE, but some people call him Edie, some people call him Eddie, some people call him EDE. He's got a variation of names, and some people just call him Ed. But and some people call him Big E. A lot of people have called Eddie a lot of names, but I'm gonna guess that if they do listen to chat's advice, they're probably gonna pick up Eddie. Now, once again, I am gonna mention just one more time, I do have that video out, Fallout New Vegas tutorial for freshies on the channel Fuzzy Mushroom. So if you are interested in seeing how to just, bring jackpot the game, then go ahead and watch that, and that's going to show you how to get Veronica in the first hour, probably in the first 30 minutes. And Veronica, by the way, is without any contestant, the highest DPS companion in the entire game. So ideally, if you're a meta mutant champion, whatever, if you're all about the meta, then watch that tutorial for, at the very least, just the desert salad route. You don't necessarily have to be the True Slayer. You can skip through the first 15 minutes. Just get to the point where I go to the NCR Correctional Facility and zip on through Death Valley and end up in the 188 trading post. So in that video, I show you in the first 40 minutes how to get through there. But honestly, if you can just skip through Goodsprings, just skip through the first 15 minutes when I'm building the character, if you skip past the first 15 minutes, the rest of the video should show you the desert salad route. And so that's going to leave you at about only 20 minutes of viewing. And if they're watching this stream right now, and if you are live in 2 hours, you've got time to watch that video. If you want to see the desert salad route. And possibly get Veronica right off the bat. But more than likely, they don't have time to watch that video. And more than likely, they're not watching the stream. So I'm going to go back to saying friendly help. If they do get it, they're probably going to get it with the help of EDE, just because EDE is such a well-loved companion. And they're more than likely going to follow Sunny's terrible advice when it comes to directions. And they're more than likely going to go through Prim, which has EDE. And how can you resist picking up EDE when you're going through Prim? And yeah, they're probably going to get EDE and get the friendly help perk through EDE when they pass through Prim. That's my guess. Heavy-handed. That is a perk that I got. But I don't know if they're necessarily going to go with that, just because it is an unarmed perk. Implant C13, I believe that's an Old World Blues DLC perk, and I think we mentioned we were going to avoid discussion of any Old World Blues type perks or any kind of merchandise from that DLC. So let's just skip on through that. Implant GRX. Now I believe this is this a DLC option, or is this base game? I want to say Implant GRX is base game, despite having the Implant name. I believe it is base game. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it is base game. So I'm going to guess, but this is kind of a more secretive, more meta perk. I could not live without this perk. As a Sandman, as a sandbox enjoyer, I could not live without this perk. So I hope they end up with this perk, but honestly, I don't think they're going to get this perk. Most people don't get this perk, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get this perk. It would be great for them. It's great for anyone. Anybody who's playing this game. If you get Implant GRX perk, you will love this perk so much. It is a natural high anytime you want, 3 times a day, or Wait, how many times is it a day? Hold on. Implant GRX. 10 times a day. You get it twice, and it's a natural high. 10 times a day, non-addictive, no bad side effects. You don't want no part of this. You know, that kind of perk. 10 times a day. So yeah, if you're playing this game and you have the option to get Implant GRX, I say go for it. It's the best perk out there, or one of the best. But most people don't get it. So I'm gonna guess they probably won't get it just because most people don't get it. And then, you know what? I think I forgot to mention the acquisition of the Implant GRX perk in my Fallout New Vegas for Freshies video. So I mean, sorry about that, but this is a very key part of the meta to the game, at least the way I play it. And I'm very sorry for not mentioning this before, but it is a very incredible perk. Implant M5. Yeah, I think this is an Old World Blues DLC perk, and I think we mentioned we were going to avoid discussion of that. Implant Y3, and same deal as before. We were going to avoid Old World Blues discussions. Implant Y7, yeah, I think this is also an Old World Blues implant. Intelligence implant. This is from the clinic, and it's so difficult to guess. You know, I'm going to guess they're going to have 10 intelligence off the bat. So I'm going to guess that even with just one endurance, even with one implant to choose from, they won't need the intelligence implant because they're going to already be as smart as can be right off the bat. Intense training. With intense training perk, you can put a single point into any of your special attributes. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people choose this perk. I myself have got both of them. So yeah, I'm gonna guess they might go with this perk, and they might put some of those special points into agility or perception. But I'm gonna guess agility. I'm gonna guess they're gonna come out maxed out with intelligence, maxed out with perception, maxed out with luck, and they're gonna put that point in agility. But I could be mistaken. They might be maxed out with luck, agility, and intelligence, and put that perk into perception. Not too sure. Irradiated Beauty. So this is one of those must-haves I was talking about. There's about 3 perks that you gotta have. You absolutely must have. And that's Irradiated Beauty, Jury Rigging, Nuka Chemist I must have. I don't know if you necessarily need it, but yeah, it's something that I gotta have. I gotta have. Oh, these 2, Nuka Chemist and Old World Gourmet, I love those. But I don't know if you necessarily gotta have it. I think the ones you absolutely gotta have are Jury Rigging, Implant GRX, as we mentioned, Irradiated Beauty, and I believe there's another one called Roughing It. Yeah. So with this combination, you can save an incredible amount of caps, and this is truly the foundation of the Sandman, of he who spends forever in a sandbox. So Roughing It, what this does is it allows you to restore all your limbs, even on hardcore difficulty, as long as you can find a bed outside. Irradiated Beauty. The magic of this perk is you lose 100 rads every time you sleep, whether it be outside, inside, anywhere you sleep. 100 rads lost. So the nice thing about Irradiated Beauty is, you know how every once in a while you have to go to the doctors and it's not a lot of fun and you dread it? Well, Irradiated Beauty and Roughing It, with a combination of these 2 perks, you never, ever have to visit the doctor. Never. The only time you're going to have to visit the doctor is if you're addicted to something, and he's just going to help wean you off that addiction. Outside of that, you can choose to never visit the doctor again with the help of these 2 perks. And then for Jury Rigging, of course, Jury Rigging is just going to make you a crazy amount of money. Once you get Jury Rigging, you don't have to worry about money as bad. So that's nice. So yeah, with those 3 perks, you can spend forever in a sandbox. Stone wall's nice, but it's not necessarily necessary. Now, I need it, but I don't know if you necessarily need it for a sandbox. Tribal Wisdom, I love this one. But once again, I don't know if you necessarily need it, but I love this one. But I don't know if you necessarily need it. What's so nice about it, what I love about it, is you get to eat insects, and there's insects all over the Mojave, so I find it fun from time to time to just crunch down on some critters. But I don't know if you necessarily need this one. Now, it is nice when you read the details about it. Your limbs take 50% less damage from mutated animals, and mutated insects. You gain 25 poison resistance to damage when you eat mutated insects and when you're in sneaking mode. So if you read the details, it's pretty good. But me personally, I just wanted it for the cool eating an insect animation. I thought that was cool and a lot of fun. In Wild Wasteland, I got this one simply for two reasons. I wanted to get BB guns for my lobotomites, and I wanted to get the random chance of finding fire axes, just because I'm kind of, you know how there's the completionist? I'm kind of in the other direction, the collector. I like to collect rare items and things of that sort. I guess another word for it is the gotcha addict. But yeah, I'm a lot of a collector, and as a Sandman, when Wild Wasteland gives me the chance to collect more and more of rare, incredibly rare, you can never get this items, I can't pass it up. But if you're just looking to pass through the game, I would say Wild Wasteland's probably not too necessary. But for somebody looking to spend a lot of time, yeah, Wild Wasteland, you'll regret not getting it if you decide you want to spend a lot of time in this game. Definitely get Wild Wasteland. So out of the must-haves for Sandman, Wild Wasteland, I'm going to go ahead and throw in Nuka Chemist just because I'm so fond of it. And Jury Rigging, E-Rated Beauty, and Roughing It. That's what you got to have. Anyways, we're going to end this video now. There's still a little bit of time, but I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. So if you can, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be pretty soon. So if you like Fallout New Vegas, check out the Fallout New Vegas category tonight in less than two hours, and you're probably going to find a cool stream over there. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get back to the program. So I'm going to be closing out the stream. So this is a charity stream, despite how much I've been droning on about Fallout New Vegas. This is a charity stream, so if you can, check out the link in the description. In my title, it says check out the link. Check out that link. There's a link there that describes this wonderful organization that helps out with saving the wildlife. And if you click on that link, you can learn more about how you can save the wildlife. And that's going to be all for now. So thank you so much for watching. If you're watching live, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the VOD, and goodbye, everyone.